Hello everyone, it's Jerry Caudell, the Yankee Creek Stitcher. Welcome back for Flosstube number 41. It is Saturday, February 20th of 2021. I hope everyone had an awesome Valentine's Day, Valentine's weekend. My husband and I did, and I'll show you a gift that I received from him on my next Flosstube. I'm hoping to do a studio tour, and I'll share that with you. And I watched Cindy's with Cindy's cross stitch. She did her studio tour and love it. Go watch it. So many awesome organizing tips and ideas and storage solutions, and she provided links to everywhere that she had bought the products. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Even with my new studio and some organizing things that I had purchased, I'm going to be adding some things that she had mentioned in her video as well. So excited about that. So yeah, next Flosstube I'll be sharing a studio tour and my Valentine's gift for my husband. So let's just jump into it. Since I didn't record last weekend for Valentine's Day, this past week I took down my Valentine's Day core, so I want to share with you previous cross stitch and quilt finishes that pertains to Valentine's Day. So we're going to start off with that. We'll start off with this one. This is from Luminous Fiber Arts. And I forget the chart name. It may be mine. I'm not positive. Sorry, Misty, but Luminous Fiber Arts, I know she still has this available. So go check it out because it is adorable. I finished this a couple of years ago, and it's just a flat finish that I put the ruffle around, and I have a magnet on the back. This hangs in a kind of a rectangle basket that you find at Hobby Lobby. I just didn't bring that in here, but it just sticks to the magnet on the basket. Then this was a freebie chart from the Primitive Hair, and I believe last year when I shared this, someone had asked about it, and I can't find it anymore on their website, so I'm assuming she took it down. I'm not sure. But yeah, I stitched this a few years ago, but it's finished in this little wooden heart-shaped bowl. I'm not sure where I got that, but I just stuck a magnet in it. Just the messy backside, and so it just pops right in there, and then it just sits on my buffet table. We'll continue with cross stitch finishes. You'll see I took the quilt down. I'm in the process of pinning it, and I've already got the binding made, so the next step is to get it quilted and bound, and I'll be done with that. So it's down, and so I'll put up my cross stitches because I'm focusing on trying to get things fully finished. These have been up here a while, but there's a few missing, you'll notice, so this is one of them. It had been hanging up there saying I need to get finished, so I went ahead. I finished 4 little pillows this week. This is Heart and Hands 2002 Collector's Heart series that she has, and so I stitched this up, I don't know, last year I believe, so I fully finished it just into a little pillow. Sewed it, slit the middle, and then just covered it with the felt heart. And this is some weaver's cloth. I put my initials in the year and just hot glued it there. Quick, easy. I was in the mood it needs to get done. So get done. And this is the 2001 Collector's Heart from Heart and Hand. I had finished stitching it a year or two, maybe last year, I can't remember, but yeah, just some pink gingham on the back with a gray heart and the hot glued initials. And this was the Tiny Modernist heart. Sorry, that I had shared on my last Flosstube that I was stitching. So I finished stitching it and finished it into a pillow as well. It's the first time I had sewn in the rickrack into a finish, and it was actually pretty simple. So in the back, just some polka dots, and I did 2 layers of felt hearts on the back. And this was a freebie chart from the Primitive Hair. I stitched the V here, 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads, and the rest of it is 1 strand of floss over 2. Someone had asked in a previous video what I meant by 2 over 2. So it's 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads. And this is the one. So you can see that it's a little more, I don't know, transparent to the linen. But I kind of liked having it a little bit different. And so the back fabric, I put the heart laying down there. Then we have, this is a project bag that I had been keeping my Valentine's that I've been stitching on the past couple weeks. These are the project bags that I make, and had made this one for Valentine's Day. And this is a table topper, and I cannot believe I did not put a date on here of when I finished this, but this sits on my round dining room table. The hearts are hand embroidered on there, and then machine quilted. And someone had also asked what line of fabrics that I use. All of my fabrics are from Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Hancock Fabrics before they went out of business. I have never bought, actually had gotten 2 Moda jelly rolls. But that's the only line of fabric pieces that I've ever bought. I don't have a quilt shop around, and I have a large stash, as you've seen from my previous studio. So yeah, when Joanne has fat quarters on sale, or I haven't bought fabric for a while, but if I liked the fabric, I would buy a half yard or a yard, just to build my stash. So it's all of my fabric is Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. And another table topper. Thankfully, I did sign and date this one. I finished this in 2018 for Valentine's Day. Just a scrappy border. I just love scrappy quilts and table toppers. And then I have a couple of wall hangings. The letters are paper pieced. I think you can tell that they're paper pieced together. I love paper piecing. And then I just added a few borders, quilted it, and I love the stripe binding. But I wanted to show you, this one I finished in February of 2014. I wanted to show you how I hang my wall hangings. I had found this idea after the fact of making this one, but you're still able to go and add these tabs. You can see I just stitched the tab in the previous line where I quilted, and you don't even see it. Like there's one stitched here, You can't even see where I added the tabs. So I stitched there and then there in my quilting line. You don't even see it on the other side. So I just have the tabs, and then I use a wooden dowel rod. Wooden dowel rod. And if you leave the center open and it's light enough, I just use one nail. There's one nail in my wall, and it just hangs there. And if it's in the center, it's just gonna stay level. And here's another. This was done in 2017. And this was just freehand quilting, or free motion quilting on my sewing machine. So I really impressed myself. It actually turned out pretty well. In the back of it, these are actually just corner triangles that I stitched on there. But now when I do wall hangings, now that I know that's how I'm going to hang them, I incorporate these triangles when I bind this. So now they're stitched under the binding, so you don't see the unfinished edge of the fabric here. So these corner triangles work well if the piece isn't too wide, because if it's any wider than this, you probably want it like another tab or two to give the dowel some, or the project support on the dowel part. So yeah, I love doing little wall hangings. They're so quick and cute. And I do have one more. I'm going to grab it real quick. Okay, so this is a hand embroidered project that I did. I don't remember where I got this printout, but I think this is just some white cotton fabric that I used, and drew the piece on there and then just stitched it. 2018. And then I just added some borders to coordinate with it, and here's the back. Obviously added the tabs after the fact, but it still works. So okay, so that is all of my Valentine finishes. Let me get this stuff out of the way and switch over to what I'm going to share next. Okay, so next what I want to share with you is a little bit of haul. It's a very small amount. My husband and I have some projects we want to do around the house this year, so I've agreed. I'm severely cutting back on cross-stitch purchases. Other than my monthly nest egg from Trisha at 3 Owl Threads, this is probably going to be the last bit of haul for me. So I wanted to share with you, because I had mentioned probably I mentioned it in my storage video that, wow, everyone loved that. So glad I could inspire you and give you some ideas on how to store floss, or my system anyway. Glad everyone enjoyed that. So I switched over to the Weeks Dye Works nest egg from Gentle Art. So I got my first nest egg of Weeks Dye Works. So absolutely love these. I wanted to share them with you. Weeks is a bit more vibrant with their color and more variegated, as you'll see here. Let me get a piece of, here we go. This is Cape Cod. This is Cantaloupe. Is that not a gorgeous orange? That is just a beautiful spring orange. I cannot wait to use this in something. I think it's gorgeous. Begonia. Beautiful pink. Beautiful pink. The lighting in here in this studio is so great because I have two big old windows, and so the colors are looking very true to life. So begonia, beautiful pink. Ooh, and this one's absinthe. Wow, 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 wow. I don't see me using this in a piece, and Cynthia Brew, she has taken floss before that was a little too bright to her liking, and has, oh, I can't remember exactly what she did. Maybe dunked it in coffee or tea just to darken it some, because I love green for grasses and stuff, but this is a little bit too bright for me. So I'm going to go back and refer to her videos to refresh my memory on exactly what she did to darken this up a little bit, because it's pretty neon green. Then we have Caribbean. Ugh, gorgeous. And I know I tend to like more primitive looking stuff, but there are some summer charts that I like my bright colors, and I can totally see using this in some type of beachy, fun summer stitch. Then we have Carnation. I think that is so pretty, just the faintest of pink. And I do have the Winter Rose Manor chart, and I'm not sure what, I think it's, people have said it's conch. I've got the chart, but I haven't looked at the colors yet because it's not something I'm going to stitch on soon. But I think this may be a good pink for that house. Broom Tree. Well, this was a really cool color. It's a, you know, a pale green and just an ever so slight hint of a brown. Then we have Butterscotch. I love this brown. Going from dark to light brown. So pretty. And then we just have Beige. A good off-white cream color. And then we have Caper. And I do have Caper. There's a chart, an older chart that I think is going, actually I think it may be on my Whipco board. Just hasn't been called yet. So that's a beautiful dark green. So that was my Weeks Dye Works nest egg from Trisha at 3 Out Threads. I'm not sure if she's opened her her nest egg back up or not. I know she had shut it down from accepting new members just because floss is so hard to come by right now. So I'm not sure if she's opened that back up, but it's a great deal. She PayPal's you or invoices you once a month, and you pay PayPal, and she's really great about getting it out. And I believe she goes through alphabetically, and so we're as you can see in the, I think there was one A and then some B's and C's. So love those. Okay, and my only my other purchase was through Luminous Fiber Arts, and I had purchased, I'll show these smaller things. I ordered a couple of items and special ordered them, and also added a couple other items. This is the vintage ruler from Lady Dot Creates. Yes, I don't know what on earth I'm going to do with that, but I think it is so cool. And sorry, I'll take these out of the bag. I needed some more needles. I do like size 28s. I prefer the petites, but these didn't come in a petite, and I don't think I've tried peacemakers before, so I grabbed a pack of those. And I also added on, I just think this is so adorable, from Brenda Gervais. She has, oh my gosh, and the Easter one. I said I wasn't going to purchase them, but I'm going to be good this year. I'm going to be good. They just came out, so I can purchase them later on. But I did want to grab this. I thought I would get around to stitching on one of them, but I didn't. But that's okay. I still have it. But I just think those are so adorable. But the reason I had contacted Misty is Nell with Little Yellow House Crafts. Go check her out. She's finally back. She had taken a couple month break with her busy life. So, but gosh, I don't remember what Flosstube it was, but she had shared her Prairie Schooler, a handful of Prairie Schooler Halloween themed charts, and she had finished them all on the same fabric, same count of fabric, and was framing them all in the same frame. Oh, absolutely love that. So I wanted, oh, and what reminded me of that project and why I wanted to get the fabric was that Helen D shared on her Flosstube. It wasn't her last one, I just watched it. It might have been 2 Flosstubes ago. She had stitched sweeping cobwebs, but she had only stitched like the witch and the words. She didn't stitch all of this, but I did not have this one. And when I pulled up the chart and seen all this, like, oh my gosh, I have got to add this to my Halloween charts that I'm going to stitch all together. Well, not all together, individually. So I love this chart. So I sent Misty a message that I was wanting a piece of fabric. I had initially asked about Harvest Moon, and she was having trouble matching that because of, you know, the dyes that have changed recently because of all the craziness from last year. So I ended up getting all of that to say that she had a whole yard of macchiato, and she said it was just a touch darker than it normally is, but I loved it, and I said it is perfect for what I want it for. So I have a whole yard of this to myself. Misty does an awesome job with her fabric. I love stitching on her fabric. So yes, a whole yard of macchiato. I know the color keeps changing. There's a good representation. So yeah, now I'm anxious to get started on Halloween charts, but I'm really not in the mood to stitch on Halloween. So this will be sitting here waiting for me when I am ready. So yeah, she had ordered the sweeping cobwebs for me, and had the fabric, and so I added the other little goodies onto my order. So thank you so much, Misty. I ordered it, and I think I got it 3 days later from Pennsylvania. Awesome. Okay, so that was all of my haul. Hopefully that was quick and painless for everyone. So let me switch things over and I'll share with you my whips. Okay, back to share with you my whips that I've worked on the past 3 weeks. First up is I'll insert a picture of the chart each week when I'm sharing these, getting the charts in and out of the plastic or trying to hunt them down where I've stuck them from the last Flosstube. I have taken a picture of the chart, or the, you know, a picture of the finished product, and I will put that up on the screen and then also share with you where I was previously. And first up is Halloween Quaker. Yeah, Lila Studio Halloween Quaker. This was my whip go, one of my whip go numbers. So my whip go goal for each number that is picked is 1,000 stitches on that project. So I got my 1,000 stitches in. Primarily, I know it's down here, and I think that is honestly all down here that I got the 1,000 stitches, which is amazing because it doesn't look like that many, but oh my goodness, it's crazy once you start stitching them and then counting them. You would think it would get you a little bit further, but wow. This is on 36 count Murky, and I am stitching it 1 strand of floss over 2 linen threads. Oh, I love this chart. But after doing 1,000 stitches, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna take me a while. But that's okay. I'm enjoying it. I love stitching on it. So yeah, 1,000 stitches done on that piece. Next up, I have Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. And Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow has been my weekend stitch. I was trying to focus on it on my weekends, but not made a lot of progress. You'll see, sorry, this fabric, such a huge piece of fabric, but basically the work I've done on the second block, you can see I've done half my row. I'm stitching this with DMC, the DMC conversion. So I got the corn stalk, and I've started on, I've got the border about half done, and I've worked on the fence. So I'm not really feeling this, stitching on this right now. So I'm probably going to be switching my weekend projects. I just got to figure out what it is I want to make my weekend focus. So, but that's been my progress so far. I did at least finish, since the beginning of the year, finish block 1, and that's been my progress so far on block 2. Next up, I have Stacy Nash, Miss Baxter's House. She was my other whip go number for 1,000 stitches. And I actually went through and ironed everything for you guys, so it's easier to see. I stitch in hand, so this side's always rolled up and it's hard to show you. So my 1,000 stitches consisted of, I finished the roof, finished the chicken, and the roof and the chicken, and I think I continued on down with filling in the lighter stripes in the house. So yeah, got my 1,000 stitches done for that whip go number as well. So I'll show you my whip go board progress. And someone had asked what whip go was on one of my floss tubes, and whip go is a an event, I guess, that Jessie with Jessie Marie does stuff. Check out her Flosstube channel. She's amazing. I don't think she's done one the past month or two because she's had her little baby. So, but she still is doing, pulling our numbers for us, and she also has a Facebook page, Facebook group for, I think it's WhipGo. I think it's called WhipGo 2021. So this is my progress so far. Not really close to a bingo yet, so, but that's okay. I am getting stitches into all these charts. So let's see, I still have things I've not touched on yet. Is Prairie Schoolers December, Brenda Gervais Forever and Ever. So that's it. So I still have, all these to come back to. I think each chart, I have like 5 charts, and each chart is on here about 5 times. So 5,000 stitches on each of these. Pretty exciting. Should be quite a bit of progress. Okay, so, but I didn't continue on with what WhipGo was. You lay out, like I just showed you my charts here. And you see the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 25. and then you decide on which charts you, some people have just only one chart per day, like they have 25 charts they've listed on here. I've picked out 5 of my older ones and ones that I want to make a lot of progress on, and that's what I use. So like I said, some of these are on here 5 times. Well, I think each of them are on there 5 times, which would make sense, right? But yeah, my goal for each one is 1,000 stitches. So when she pulls she'll pull the numbers on the 27th of the month, and then you start stitching them on like February 27th, and then you start stitching on it March 1st. But you have the whole year. You don't have to finish them in the month. But you know, once that number is called, and once you meet your goal, whatever your goal was, you color it in, and then you make up your own incentive for getting a bingo. Some people, their reward is they get a new start. Some people, they can buy a new chart or buy a piece of fabric or whatever you want to make it to be as your prize for getting a bingo, which I think is awesome. And it's motivating. It helps me to get things done. So that's WhipGo. I did not officially join WhipGo. I don't post to the page or anything. I just follow along, watching other people's progress and, you know, what their goals was. It's interesting to see what each person's goals were and the charts that they're stitching on and the progress that they're making. So it's fun to watch. I just didn't officially join and post my projects. I just like to follow along. And then the last piece I've worked on the past 3 weeks is this is my Focus on a Finish piece. It is Autumn Bouquet from Blackbird Designs. And the progress, there we go, a little bit darker there. The progress that I've made is, I think I finished the G, and I did the H, the I, and the J there at the bottom, or half of the J. That's what I worked on that last night. And then I continued the vine, added onto the vine over here. I got done with the red. I'm like, okay, I'm done stitching with the red for a little bit. So that's when I switched to the letters last night. So I get anxious, or not anxious, I get excited once we get the WhipGo numbers. So the first week or 2 of the month, I focus on the WhipGo pieces because I want to get those 1,000 stitches in those pieces. And then I work on my Focus on a Finish piece, or then my weekend pieces. So yeah, the first week or 2, I focus on those 1,000 stitches in each of my projects first, because I want to get those knocked out. So it is so motivating to have a goal. I've really enjoyed saying your goal is 1,000 stitches on these projects. So I've actually wanted to kind of start another WhipGo board, and which I could actually do that, like, and plug in, you know, roll the number and say it's the weekend project that I need to put 1,000 stitches in. So that's not a bad idea. I actually may do that. I have a second WhipGo board, and a goal of 1,000 stitches, because, you know, I was in another group, and it was, you know, 200 or 300 stitches, and as you can see, 1,000 stitches doesn't really go very far. So I want to make a bigger impact on my project. So 1,000 stitches is, you know, it's doable, and, you know, can make a nice impact on your project. So so now what I wanted to discuss was my plans for March. Not that I necessarily have them all tied down yet, but I want to, like I said, I'm going to figure out a new weekend focus piece. I need to get a new work car piece, because I had the Valentine charts in there. So those are done. So I haven't stitched on much at work this week. So I need to find a new piece that I can focus on for that. Whip Go draws, like I said, February 27th. So I'll know which 2 pieces I'll be working on in March. And as I said, I will have a studio tour on my next Flosstube, which, so hopefully saying it and saying I'm going to do it will make me do it, because I've said for a month or 2 now that I've wanted to do a studio tour. It's just when you move into the new space and then having to figure out where every single little thing is going to go, because, you know, it's a craft room studio, so there's a lot of little stuff that you need to get organized and decide where it's going to go. And I have plenty of room to do that. It's just a matter of saying, okay, this is where I'm going to put this type of, you know, like finishing items and ribbons and just all that, the little stuff that you got to get organized. So that's really what I need to nail down and just get it done. And watching Cindy's video yesterday, I was like, it makes me want to get in here and get it done. So watching her video and saying that it's going to be on my next Flosstube, my tour, hopefully is enough for me to get it done. And also, previous years I had done March Madness. I think I called it March Madness because a lot of people do Mania, Stitch Mania, and you know there's several different ways to do that. I'm trying to think what I did last March. It wasn't a bunch of new starts. I think I had done that the previous year, but I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for March. I'm not going to do a bunch of new starts. I don't like. I thought, well, I'll focus on a different whip each day, but you know, some days I may get 30 minutes to stitch, or an hour to stitch, or no time to stitch at all. So I didn't want to commit to a chart every day, or a whip project every day. So I'm thinking I'll probably pick out a whip to focus on per week, on top of my Whip Go projects. So, you know, I'm still tossing around if that's what I want to do, a whip per week, and which whips do I want to work on? Because as I mentioned before, and I'm trying to focus on my older whips to get those done. So that's what I'm looking towards. So on my next Flosstube, you'll see what I've decided on as far as my weekend project, my Whip Go charts, and what I'm going to do for March. So if you've decided what you're going to do, because I've seen March Mania, March Mayhem, March Madness, so one of those M's. Let me know below what you're going to do. Maybe it'll inspire me to figure out what I'm going to do. So that's all I have to share with you this week. I hope you enjoyed my Valentine finishes, and until next time, happy stitching, and spring is right around the corner. I'll see you next time. Bye.